Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. BigThunderMan here, bringing you a one-on-one. I am Russia again on the map Deccan, playing an Indian or an India player who is a little bit higher ranked than me. So really excited to bring you this game after the disaster of the last game. Hopefully going to play a little bit better. I immediately start off trying to get all my villagers onto different food crates and getting herdables back to me, per usual. And the first thing that comes through my mind is I know exactly what he's going to do. I mean, you don't play in India on Deccan and not expect an aggro fort rush. So I know from the outset his strategy, and in some sense that gives me some power, because now I can say, well, he's definitely going to do this. In terms of his aggro fort rush, I know that there's going to be a fort in the middle of the plateau somewhere, likely. He's going to try to grab some resources from it, be able to gather everything around it, and pressure me with sepoys. That's generally what they do. So I have no delusions in my head about what he's actually going to do, so I just have to figure out how to counter it. By the way, notice I get most of my settlers off of gathering the wood and the coin and onto gathering food, and the reason why is because I want to be able to age up as fast as humanly possible in order to counter him and his imminent aggro fort rush. So so I have everybody go onto the food, one person stays behind to gather the wood, and normally what you would do is you build a trade post or a market or a few extra houses, but I kind of want to get a little bit of a jump on him, so I'm actually going to build a blockhouse in the middle of the map, which is something I generally don't do. I generally get 300 wood as my first shipment, I send it back to my town center, and I build a blockhouse there to be on the defensive, but I kind of want to throw him off a little bit, because I feel as if I actually credibly threaten him in the middle, maybe I'll catch his settlers, maybe I might screw him up a little bit if I get my blockhouse in the middle. Also, because I know he's going to attack me with sepoys, I know I make strelets in batches of millions practically, or to be more exact, batches of 10, so I feel like I can probably spam strelets fairly easily. However, the deck I made is more of a Cossack orientated deck, which probably wasn't the best choice. It's got 2 Cossacks cards, both coin cards, so not as much food and wood as you would expect from a deck designed to support strelets. Because even though I know he's going to rush with sepoys, I do want to go pretty big and heavy on the Cossacks. You may notice me up there at the top of the map, by the way, trying to grab 5 population. Good treasures help wherever good treasures help. So at this point, 3 minutes in, or 2.5 minutes in, I'm sorry, we're both getting ready to age, both pretty feeling each other out almost in a way, because he probably expects me to rush, but I know exactly what he's going to do, so I'm using that knowledge to hopefully circumvent his strategy with my own. At this point, trying to lure the treasure guardian, normal average stuff, and this is going to be a game of map control. Even at this point, it's fairly obvious that if I can stop him from having unmitigated access to the center of the map, because remember, Deccan has a plateau in the middle, I can then get access to those resources, and I can then control the sides. So that's my big plan here. I age up with 14 settlers. I'm not going to go 17 because I know he's going to rush me with sepoys and have an aggro fort somewhere. I was going to type something about, like, where's your aggro fort, but then I decided not to. I do have a good amount of herdables in my town centers, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point, even though I'm, like, a little bit wary. I'm also not necessarily freaked out yet. I did save my shipments. I didn't send a first aid shipment, and the reason why I did that is because I want to rush to get military as fast as I can when I age up. I assume that was a smart decision. And there's his aggro fort. That kind of bummed me out. I mean, position-wise, it's good that I know where it is. It's good that it's not, like, directly in the middle of the plateau. But I was bummed that I didn't get to stop him or mess with him from building it, because that's what I really wanted. So I give him a gasp face in the chat, just kind of be like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that, even though I did. And I go to take the yaks. I'm kind of really excited that he seemingly hasn't done much map exploration, because those yaks are going to be tremendous. They're 400 food each. I let them fatten, then I'll gather them faster than any other food source. I have 6, so that means I'm currently sitting on 2,400 food from yaks, so I'm just like, sweet. Let's see, my first shipment's going to be the strelets and then some gold, and I don't know why. and this actually really frustrates me. I make a massive blunder here. I do set my waypoint there so the Strelets arrive at the front, which wasn't a bad idea, but doing that while having a resource shipment coming after really makes it very precarious, because that means if I don't get that resource shipment gathered, then I'm really in trouble. So that could bite me in the rear end if I don't grab my resource from there, and if he's attacking me, I might not be able to gather it. So I'm kind of aware of the potential problems that I'm facing right now. Got some Strelets coming though. I wanted to do something with them, but I realized it wasn't a good decision yet to do anything. So I see he killed my villager there, and that really pissed me off. And I have Strelets wandering away by ones, and I hate the fact that sometimes units wander ones away. So definitely pissing me off. I assume at this point that he does know that I have that blockhouse there because I haven't seen him. So he must have wandered by some point when I didn't realize and be kind of sitting nervously. Now look at this. This point, no villagers here in the middle. There comes Set Boys, and I'm about to send 700 gold to my town center. Now, I wasn't actually that worried, I'm sorry, not 700 gold to my town center, I'm sending it to my blockhouse. At that point, I wasn't that worried, even though it was almost equivalent number of Set Boys and Strelets, but I should have been, because Set Boys just dominate. It's pretty bad in my opinion, like how overpowered they are, because even though I had to counter for them in an equal number, look at this, I'm still getting my ass kicked. So, and I'm not collecting that 700 gold I think. So there we go. I just lost 700 gold. Well, I didn't lose it yet, but chances of me grabbing it now are exponentially smaller than they were before. At this point, though, I still feel like I can make something happen. I'm sending the next 600 gold to my town center. Remember, I wanted the gold because I wanted to make Cossacks or Musketeers and really get a leg up. Here come villagers, and I'm like, crap, I don't want you to steal my gold, but I can't do anything about it. Now he's sending out some light infantry, and at this point, I realize I'm not going to be able to hold this blockhouse, unfortunately. Set Boys are a little bit too overpowered. I didn't have enough Musketeers. I probably should have sent food and wood first, or food. I think I ended up canceling my, yeah, I canceled my Strelet shipment because I want the wood back. I ended up destroying the blockhouse I was building close to it there because I don't want him to destroy it. And because if you destroy a building while it's building built, the person loses the wood they put into that. But if you destroy it, if you yourself destroy it while it's being built, you get a percentage of that wood back. So I, in the meantime, am going to keep working on gathering trading posts. I am in a very, very bad way at this point. I don't know why he didn't just march in. I mean, the thing about military victories in this game is if you win a military victory in a rush game, you have to use that advantage somehow. You can't win a battle and then do nothing with it. He won that battle. He won control of the center. So he should be doing something with his victory, whether it's pushing me because I probably have no other military, or taking map control, or he should be doing something with the victory he just got. And him not doing that is going to allow me to put up a wall and a blockhouse and try to keep fighting on, you know. Also, so I keep grabbing trade posts. At this point, I'm really freaking out. I'm like, crap, I'm in trouble, whatever. So I'm kind of nervous at this point in time about everything. So, because I'm down significantly, he really could just march into my town and kill me, but he's not, and I don't know why. I mean, I've played a lot of India. You've seen some of my India videos on the channel, so I know how to play India, so I'm not sure why he's not here. Anyway, I switched to making Musketeers, because even though I lost 700 gold, I still got the 600 gold shipment, so I want to save my wood for making trade posts and buying the upgrades. My thought is, if I can pull off a little bit of a trade post boom in terms of getting all those trade posts, then I will be in great shape. I start walling off my area. I'm taking map control, or at least on my side. Even though I lost that main battle, I don't want to just allow him to be able to walk into my town. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I am managing housing slightly better than I normally do, although not great. I do delete one set of coming military, that way I can build settlers right away. Settlers are very, very important, obviously. I mean, you should always keep making men. You should never stop making men. Or men, you should never stop making villagers, settlers, villagers. I'm sorry, I've been playing a lot of Civ 5, so I'm kind of getting the terminology mixed up a bit. Anyway, at this point, I'm doing the exact same thing, still building a military, and he hasn't pressed his advantage yet, and that's kind of leading me to wonder why. He hasn't pressed the advantage. It's ridiculously stupid to win a major battle in the middle of the map, decimate the military force, and not push. If he had pushed there, I would have had probably no choice but to resign, because I couldn't have done anything. But he didn't push, and that's the thing you have to understand. There's a time when you push too far and you cause yourself to lose the game, and there's a time where you don't push enough and you cause yourself to lose the game, or at least put yourself in a position where you might not win the game because you're allowing your opponent to get back on his feet. Because from here on out now, it's a question of who can do better with the time they have, you know what I mean? Like, he attacked me, right? And now we're in this phase where he has the advantage, and I'm having to recover. So whoever plays better economically and militarily at this point will win the game. So he had the opportunity to win it, but now he's giving me the chance to fight back and play. So that's why, at this point, he should have pushed way earlier instead of allowing me to get back up and running. I built a livestock pen. I upgrade the trading post. My plan's simple. I'm behind him in score significantly. I want to start using the trade post to funnel in resources. I'm going to keep walling stuff off. I probably should have done that faster, maybe. Not sure. I haven't played excellently this game, although, because I mean, I'm alive because he made a mistake. So I'm trying not to overlook that fact. I built a gate. Might notice, by the way, my mouse movements are a little bit more concise this game as opposed to last game. The previous game, I had some problem with recording the mouse where it flickered while I was playing, which made it incredibly hard to focus on. It's not doing that this game, so you may notice that I'm playing a lot better in terms of using my mouse and being concise, I guess, with my clicks, if that makes sense. I haven't built a market yet, though, and that's probably one of the biggest problems I have as a player. I often overlook the market. And he's got his military, a lot of Gurkhas, probably some Sepoys sitting in the middle of the map. I march all my men backward, and then when I see about 4 or 5 coming forward, I will pick them off, obviously. That's just a good situation for me to kill them while they're all funneling in, and then I run away. So I got a few free kills there. Nothing game-changing, but definitely good. At this point, I have my side walled up pretty much. I have control of one of the trading posts. Now I'm going to send Cossacks. I want to start raiding him, because he's being so passive. The mentality in my head is, let's take advantage of this, you know what I mean? I'm actually lower ranked than him in this game. Or, yeah, I think I came in lower ranked than him because I lost rank in the last game I played and posted online. So, I'm really surprised that he's being passive. But because he's being passive, I'm going to take that opportunity to start putting pressure on him. Because the one thing he hasn't done is taken advantage of the map control that he has. So if he's not going to take control of the map, I am. I'm going to get the trade beam post. I'm sending that villager over to the top right of the map so I can make a blockhouse and maybe a stable and just start pressuring him. I mean, I'm going to win. That's my plan. I want to win. So I'm going to play to win even though he had the advantage earlier and screwed up. I mean, I can't quite see the score right now on the screen, but I believe he's ahead by 30 points in score. I mean, he has at least 30. He's 30% better off than me. Is one way to think of it. I don't know necessarily how to explain that well, but that means he has a significantly more military or significantly more economy. But he hasn't leveraged that into an advantage. So I don't know what to say. I was kind of confused while playing. Like at this point, like kind of giddy. Like, oh my gosh, I might actually pull off the cutback. You know. I get the blockhouse being built around his side, and I'm doing that because I really want to start throwing some pressure on him and forcing him to. I want to be able to attack him from multi sides. I want to like anaconda him, you know, choke him out. And I finally build a market. I am awful at building markets when I'm supposed to, so I should have had a market built a long time ago, undoubtedly. So I'm still building trading posts, doing all the normal good stuff. I think I'm gonna send the Cossacks up, yep, to the top of the map. If he ever attacks me in the middle, I'm going to wander some Cossacks in this town. And I have learned my lesson from the previous game. You may remember in the previous game, I said, hey, don't split up your army. Even though I have my army in 2 groups, it's no longer like 3 or 4 little groups. I mean, I have one really big army in the middle with a blockhouse where I feel like I can make him spam units back at him. So I feel like I'm splitting up my army a little bit to a decent amount, but not to a point where it weakens me at all. So that's why I'm splitting up my army. You know, in the last episode I said, hey, don't split up your army generally. In this case, it's not a bad idea. So that was my goal. I'm going to start scouting around his side, and I'm kind of surprised at this point to see that he hasn't utilized more of the resources on his side. Look at that. There's a herd there. There's lots of resources there that he hasn't eaten. So that to me is kind of strange. I'm like, all right, why haven't you taken advantage of everything you have? So I start to build a stable there. I'm starting to make gold. My plan is to start making Cossacks on the sides to start pressuring him. And he has done nothing with his side of the map, and I'm just stunned. I'm like, why have you done nothing? It's like, it's almost ridiculous to me, you know what I mean? Like, and he's let me grab all the trade posts. He hasn't done a thing about it. I mean, he can see the little trade post icons popping up, you know? So, I mean, that's just one of the things where I'm stretched out right now, way farther than I can possibly hold, you know what I mean? I can't possibly defend 5 different trade posts and my town. And he definitely, score-wise at least, has a pretty significant advantage over me. So, from my perspective, I don't understand why. Or my lesson to you guys would be, don't let anybody take map control of you. Remain in control of what you're doing. Because I'm still just slowly walling up. I'm boxing him in, even though he probably doesn't feel like it. I wandered 10 musketeers through his town, and even though that's technically a waste of units, I did that because I could afford to waste them. In terms of having the trading post go, I felt like the knowledge of I would gain from wandering those units into his town, maybe causing him a little bit of pressure and messing with his head a bit, was worth losing those 10 musketeers. So that was my plan there. I start rallying up Cossacks. I keep messing with the trade post. I mean, if you look at it, I'm getting probably 100 extra resources a minute. I actually have no idea. Probably 100 every 30 seconds, if not more, from these trade posts. That's tremendous advantage. I mean, even though he's got a score advantage, I can make men all day long to defeat him, and that could come back to bite him in the butt. And the other thing that I'm kind of like, that kind of gives me an advantage here, is because he's India, he doesn't have cannons, and I'm aware of that. And the thing about that is, one of the biggest problems with India is when you get to the Third Age as a European civilization or as Iroquois, all of a sudden you start making field guns, or falconets, I believe they're called in their upgraded state, right? You start making falconets, and all of a sudden, you know, you have this massive advantage because the large infantry-only armies that were previously controlling the game no longer are effective, you know? And that's... But he doesn't have that, so even though he'll have some upgrades to his men, he won't be able to just instantly annihilate all my infantry. And I'm aware of that, so I'm kind of... That's why I'm not worried that he's an age ahead of me at this point. Although, I'm just now buying basic market upgrades. Horrendous gameplay on my part. I have trouble balancing the market in terms of what I want to do and where my resources are going, so that's definitely something I need to work on. I keep massing Cossacks up at the top of the map. I mean, it works so well. I mean, at this point, I feel like I have the game won, in all but actually having won it, because I have the trading post, I'm making men, my economy is great. I don't feel threatened by him at all. So my plan now pretty much is to get to the Third Age, start making cannons, and then just start blowing everything up. I mean, I've closed the score differential that he once had, so, I mean, at this point, you know, he doesn't have an advantage. In fact, he has a disadvantage in terms of what he controls or doesn't control on the map, so, keep making Cossacks, doing good things, yeah, I mean, this was a game of map control. I mean, he had the opportunity, he had my neck in his throat, my neck in his hand, and he didn't squeeze, so I guess that's just his mistake in terms of winning the game. I'm waiting for food. I finally am going to age up to the Third Age. I returned some of those back to food because I want my food reservoirs to restore a little bit. I need the food if I ever need to spam infantry. And at this point, I'm now thinking about how to beat him. My main goal, I think, at this point is I want to attack him down. I want to take down his fort with either mortars or petards. And then I want to, while I'm fighting him in the middle, I want to run in 1,000,000 Cossacks into his town. So And I make one more Cossack there because I wanted it to be an even number. So I'm slightly OCD. I wanted it to be around 40, I think. So let's see. Make another farm, right? I had a really good colonial age. I look here. I probably could have done grenadiers instead of waiting for petards or falconets, but I'd end up waiting and going for cannons. There we go. And at this point, I mean, not a good position to be him. 3 falconets. He won't be able to answer me unless he has siege elephants. But even then, he'll take some pretty fancy micromanagement. And I see some sepoys there. So he's aware, I think, at least in some capacity, that my men are over there. So I'm actually going to kind of pressure him. My plan is to kill these settlers and then run away before I get in trouble. So I think I did it there. I think I was pretty successful with that. He runs after me in melee mode, so that's pretty good for me. I'm going to make some strelets here because I know those are all sepoys. Even though strelets aren't necessarily the best counters we saw earlier in the game, it still seems like a good idea to me to have strelets there. If only to deter him from running full out, you know. I have the cannons at this point. And now from here, it's just going to be some basic military strategy. I'm going to hopefully take down that fort, and I just have to start figuring out how to beat him, you know? I am going to send the strelets into his town because I want to keep messing with him. I mean, he feels trapped now. I don't know why he never went to the bottom of the map, by the way, but that's a different story. But at this point, he knows I have all the trading posts. He knows I have Cossacks up there. He probably knows I have men in the middle of the map, although I don't know why he never bothered to go look. So I mean, you can't be timid in a game of Age of Empires 3. There's a certain balance you have to know. You have to know, well, I want to be this aggressive, but I don't want to overstep, you know? And learning that balance is something that can be kind of difficult, you know? So I guess in this instance, he was a little bit too timid, and that worked out for my advantage. Because at this point now, it's anything goes. And I've now taken a pretty big lead militarily. I wander into his town just because I want to see how many sepoys there are. There's about 20 there, so I'm like, sweet. Upgrade sepoys. I start upgrading men. My big goal here is to take down that fort. I want to be able to really just put on some pressure on him, and I let those sepoys die again because I can afford to. I want to be able to look around his map, look around his town, pardon me, see what he has there, kill it. And at this point, I'm just gonna start marching petards, cannon, cavalry. The entire Russian army is coming out here. I don't fear him. I know I can make men faster than him. I know that I have better artillery than him. I know that I have a better economy than him. I know that I have map control. At this point, I thought I was going to get a free shot off at the fort, but he actually is able to kill most, if not all, of my petards. You can see, I have 2 left, I think, and I get 1 off, and I almost destroy his fort, which he has upgraded. You can tell by the fact it's called Delhi Gate. So he has been probably playing a lot in the upgrade game. So I want mortars, I decided. Mortars? Mortars. I decided I want mortars to really start pressuring him. So I decided to age up. I make more strelets. No, I make more musketeers. Why do I make musketeers? Oh, probably because they match up better with sepoys. Although I really should upgrade them in that case. So at this point, it's basic military strategy. Something I would like to point out, if you're not aware, you can click on the little resource icon on the top left from your trade route, on the top left right above the flag on the screen, and change and go directly to your resource, go directly to your trade post from there. You don't necessarily have to go find the trade post on the map, click on it and change it, and that'll save you some precious seconds here and there. I felt that was worth mentioning. So I'm gonna keep upgrading everything, making units. I maxed out my military here because I knew that I was going to get some cannons. So I was like, well, I want to have as much military as I possibly can, you know, go over in numbers. And I decided to let those musketeers stand and fight, and it actually works out pretty decently because they're all in melee mode, so I'm really able to exploit that. I see all those guys running to the musketeers, so I'm going to run the Cossacks around this town, hopefully avoid them. And then I decided, you know what, I can beat them. So I just decided to let them all go for it and kill them all with my Cossacks. I know Cossacks are expensive and you don't want to waste any cavalry ever, but at this point, I'm sorry, I just felt too cocky. I felt pretty sure that I was in control, so I was willing to let the Cossacks outnumber them, lose a few more than I could have to win the game. So that's what I do at this point. I stopped making villagers, by the way, but with the trading post, I didn't feel like it was the end of the world. I see him now making walls, so I'm not going to let all my cavalry march up to the wall and die. I'm going to use a cannon to break the wall and let the cavalry stay from a little bit of distance. I'm going to make one mortar. I don't need to take down that fort fast. I just need to take it down at some point in time. I'm actually, at this point of the game, really looking forward to it. Because now we're going to have two pretty upgraded, sizable armies clashing head-to-head. It should be pretty exciting. My army's split in two, but that's actually a really good thing for me, which, believe it or not, because of the way the map is shaped, there's so many entrances to the plateau. I can, if I destroy the fort from range, I can actually march those musketeers up the map from a distance, from here. I can come up that side of the map, right where the musketeers are, to the middle. Basically combine my armies into one. So, I'm thrilled about that. So I'm not even worried. I do start sieging his wall. I want to put on some pressure on him. Maybe draw his men back from his fort was my initial thought. So, I marched the musketeers back though, by the way, because I do not want to lose any, I don't want to lose any cannon due to stupidity. And here comes his cavalry, and I did defend my cannon well here. I lost them because of my own idioticness. So, I had a little bit of trouble micromanaging this game. That's always something I need to keep working on. And he runs, which I guess makes sense. He runs back to his fort, but I don't think he knows at this point that I have these men on the middle of the map. So I am for sure going to take advantage of that. I'm going to keep pressing. He didn't destroy one of my cannons, by the way, and I'm going to start mortaring that fort. And now his army is going to be caught between 2-on-1. So I'm pretty stoked at this point. There come his elephants, but I'm going to micro all my fire on the elephants. That way he doesn't kill my mortar, because I really need that mortar to survive. And the elephant accidentally walked right by my cannon. And at this point, I'm going to then send in cavalry behind him. The mortar's still alive, taking down the fort. Militarily, we pretty much got his number, and he chooses at this moment to resign. I was kind of surprised, but then when I looked at his town, it made sense. He didn't have much. He didn't even take advantage of the native posts on the middle of the map. So, it was a good game. I mean, he played well, especially in the beginning, in terms of executing his rush. But you have to remember, a rush game has three parts. It's got the early, the middle, and the end game. And you gotta play well during every single part of that game if you want to win. So, my big lesson to you guys today is, if you have an advantage, military advantage, you win a battle, take advantage of it in some way, regardless of whether it's getting land, getting a trade post. Don't just fight and win for no purpose. Press your advantage, you know what I mean? Press your advantage, take control of the game. Thanks for watching again. This was match 17, I believe, of my series. More are sure to come, and I'm just so grateful for you all watching. It means a lot to me. I didn't expect to get back into YouTube, but the response of my channel was incredible, because I walked away from YouTube for a bit thinking, alright, that was fun, but it didn't really pan out. And I came back to my channel and found out it was doing really well, and that really, I love doing this, so that motivated me to come back here and keep making content. So, thank you guys so much. Please leave a like and a comment, and I'm going to start playing and uploading Civ 5, so let me know what you think about that in the comments, if you would like to watch that and do that. Or not do that, but if you'd like to watch that, and if you have any ideas on that, I'm still trying to figure out the logistics, because Civ 5 can be a pretty computer-intensive game. My computer can handle it, but I'm trying to figure out how to divide up the episodes, since there are hundreds of turns a game, you know, so I'm working on that. So let me know what you think about that. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, and I'll catch you all next time. Happy hunting.